Most men try to turn her on with touch, but by the time you touch her, her mind has already decided whether she wants you or not. That decision wasn't made in the bedroom. It wasn't made when you complimented her. It wasn't made when you leaned closer. It was made hours earlier, maybe even days earlier, in emotional moments you didn't even realize mattered. And this is the truth most people never understand. Female desire is not activated by physical escalation. It is activated by emotional foreplay. If her nervous system is not engaged, if her mind is not stimulated, if she does not feel subtle emotional tension, her body will not fully open. You can be attractive, you can be kind, you can even be loved, and still fail to trigger desire, because desire does not respond to effort. It responds to emotional energy. Stay with me, because if you misunderstand this, you will always chase the body while ignoring the mind. And the mind is where desire begins. Let's remove fantasy from this. Emotional foreplay is not about poetry. It is not about sweet words. It is not about dramatic seduction. It is about nervous system sequencing. Female sexual arousal is heavily influenced by what neuroscience calls contextual arousal regulation. Unlike stimulus-dominant arousal more common in male patterns, female desire is highly context-sensitive. Context includes emotional tone, environmental safety, relationship stability, perceived value, psychological intrigue, internal stress levels. Her brain does not isolate attraction from emotion. It integrates everything. If she had a stressful day, if she felt emotionally dismissed earlier, if she felt unseen during a conversation, those signals register inside her limbic system. And when the limbic system detects subtle emotional threat or disconnection, it suppresses sexual openness. Not because she chooses to, but because survival regulation overrides pleasure pathways. This is biology. Desire requires parasympathetic activation. Parasympathetic activation requires safety. Safety requires emotional attunement. Emotional foreplay is the process of shifting her from cognitive evaluation into emotional absorption. When she feels mentally engaged, understood, intrigued, dopamine begins to rise. When dopamine rises without threat, desire begins to build. Dopamine is not just pleasure. It is anticipation. Anticipation is psychological arousal. When you stimulate anticipation emotionally, you stimulate desire neurologically. This is why teasing conversation works. Not crude teasing, but emotional pacing. When you say less than expected, when you pause slightly longer than normal, when your tone lowers subtly, when eye contact lingers but doesn't demand. Her brain registers novelty. Novelty increases dopamine. Dopamine increases attraction focus. But if novelty is combined with insecurity or pressure, cortisol rises. Cortisol blocks desire. So emotional foreplay must be balanced. Intrigue without instability. Depth without heaviness. Presence without pressure. This is psychological calibration. Men who skip emotional foreplay often believe desire is random. It is not random. It is regulated. If you understand regulation, you understand desire. If you truly want to understand emotional foreplay, you have to understand something most people never examine. Female desire does not spike. It accumulates, and accumulation follows a sequence, not a random one, a neurological one. Desire builds in stages: emotional awareness, emotional engagement, emotional tension, emotional surrender. Most men try to jump directly to stage 4. That is why desire feels inconsistent. Let's break this down. Before desire can even exist, she must feel emotionally aware of you. Not visually aware, emotionally aware. This means her brain has registered. His presence feels different. His energy is grounded. He is not rushing. He is not seeking approval. He is not trying too hard. Awareness is subtle. It happens in milliseconds. Her mirror neurons pick up tone stability, breathing rhythm, eye contact duration, micro-expressions, emotional containment. If your energy feels scattered, needy, or overly eager, awareness becomes guarded. Guarded awareness does not transition into desire. Calm awareness does. This is the first mistake most men make. They try to impress before being emotionally grounded. But emotional grounding is the foundation of emotional foreplay. If the nervous system senses emotional instability, it stays cautious. And cautious nervous systems do not desire deeply. Once awareness is safe, engagement begins. Engagement is when she feels mentally stimulated, not entertained. Stimulated. There is a difference. Entertainment distracts. Stimulation activates. Stimulation happens when conversation has depth. You respond instead of react. You listen without interrupting. You challenge lightly without dominance. You introduce emotional contrast. Contrast is key. If every sentence is agreeable, predictable, and flat, her brain relaxes too much. Relaxation without tension equals comfort. Comfort without tension equals friendship. Desire needs mild unpredictability, not chaos, but unpredictability in emotional pacing. For example, if she expects reassurance and you respond with calm confidence instead, tension increases. If she expects over-explanation and you respond with concise clarity, intrigue increases. Intrigue is emotional stimulation. Stimulation increases dopamine. Dopamine creates focus. Focus creates attraction intensity. This is why emotionally monotone interactions slowly erode desire. There is no stimulation, no movement, no curiosity, and curiosity is the oxygen of emotional foreplay. Now we reach the real engine. Tension is not drama. Tension is contrast between safety and mystery. This is where many relationships fail. In early attraction, tension exists naturally. You don't know everything about each other. There is slight uncertainty. There is anticipation. There is waiting. Waiting is powerful. Waiting builds internal narrative. Internal narrative builds fantasy. Fantasy builds desire. In long-term relationships, waiting disappears. Predictability replaces anticipation. Anticipation drops. Dopamine drops. Desire fades. This is not about playing games. It is about psychological rhythm. If you are always available, always explaining, always emotionally transparent to the point of predictability. Tension disappears. And when tension disappears, desire has nothing to stretch toward. Stretching is arousal. When she leans forward emotionally, desire builds. When everything is handed instantly, arousal short-circuits. Think about this neurologically. The reward system activates strongest when there is delay. Immediate gratification produces weaker dopamine spikes than delayed anticipation. Emotional foreplay uses delay intentionally. Pause before responding. Pause before escalating. Pause before touching. Let anticipation breathe. When you rush, you collapse anticipation. When you hold steady, anticipation grows. Surrender is not submission. It is letting go of control. For desire to fully activate, she must feel she can relax into the moment without scanning for threat. This requires emotional safety, nervous system regulation, trust in your stability, absence of pressure, absence of judgment. If she feels evaluated, compared, rushed, or expected to perform, surrender does not happen. She stays partially guarded. Partial guard equals partial desire. Full surrender requires emotional containment from you. Containment means you do not escalate emotionally when she pulls back. You do not panic when energy dips. You do not overreact to fluctuations. You remain grounded. Grounded presence is erotic, because grounded presence creates psychological anchoring. When she feels anchored, she can release. And release is the final stage of desire. In the beginning of relationships, emotional discovery is constant. Energy fluctuates. Curiosity is high. Mystery exists. After comfort sets in, conversation becomes logistical. Tone becomes routine. Emotional pacing disappears. Anticipation fades. The relationship becomes functional. Function is not erotic. When communication becomes task-based instead of tension-based, emotional foreplay disappears entirely. And without emotional foreplay, physical intimacy becomes mechanical. Not because love disappeared, but because emotional stimulation did. This is why some couples say, "We still care about each other. It just doesn't feel exciting." Excitement is dopamine. Dopamine is novelty. Novelty requires psychological movement. Movement requires emotional awareness. Emotional awareness requires presence. Most people stop being emotionally present once stability forms. They assume love will maintain desire. It doesn't. Desire requires maintenance of tension, not insecurity, not jealousy, but emotional aliveness. Desire builds when she feels emotionally safe, but not emotionally in control of you. If she feels she controls your emotional state, polarity collapses. If she feels emotionally unsafe, attachment collapses. The sweet spot is regulated autonomy. You are present, but not dependent. You are calm, but not passive. You are grounded, but not predictable. That psychological positioning triggers both safety and intrigue. And that combination is the real trigger. Not touch, not compliments, not effort. Emotional calibration. Most people think conflict destroys attraction. It doesn't. Emotional boredom does. And boredom is not the absence of love. It is the absence of psychological stimulation. Let's break this down scientifically. Desire is not primarily driven by pleasure. It is driven by anticipation of pleasure. This is a critical difference. Neuroscience shows that dopamine spikes more strongly in anticipation of reward than in the reward itself. Meaning, the waiting is more powerful than the receiving. This is why the beginning of a relationship feels electric. Text messages feel intense. Small touches feel amplified. Eye contact feels charged. Because the brain is in anticipation mode. Uncertainty plus safety equals heightened dopamine. But when certainty becomes complete and psychological unpredictability disappears, anticipation drops. When anticipation drops, dopamine baseline lowers. When dopamine lowers consistently, desire feels flat. Not because attraction vanished, but because anticipation died. This is where emotional foreplay becomes essential. Emotional foreplay reintroduces anticipation, not by playing games, but by managing emotional pacing. Conflict creates adrenaline. Adrenaline activates the nervous system. Activation keeps emotional energy alive. But boredom? Boredom is nervous system neutrality. Neutrality over long periods leads to disengagement. Here is what happens internally. Conversations become transactional. Emotional tone becomes predictable. Humor fades. Eye contact reduces. Subtle flirtation disappears. Touch becomes habitual. When emotional energy flattens, the brain stops associating the partner with stimulation. And stimulation is what fuels attraction. People often say, "We don't fight anymore," but something feels missing. What's missing is tension. Healthy tension. Tension is not drama. Tension is emotional polarity. Without polarity, desire collapses into comfort. Comfort is beautiful, but comfort alone is not erotic. People say, "The spark is gone." The spark is not magic. The spark is psychological novelty plus emotional risk plus anticipation. At the beginning, you don't fully know each other. You reveal slowly. You are slightly uncertain. There is emotional risk. There is curiosity. Curiosity activates dopamine. Emotional risk activates adrenaline. Safety activates oxytocin. When dopamine plus adrenaline plus oxytocin combine, it feels like spark. But over time, novelty disappears. Emotional risk disappears. Predictability increases. Emotional pacing becomes constant. Spark fades because the neurochemical balance changes. Emotional foreplay restores parts of that balance, not by creating chaos, but by reintroducing mystery, curiosity, delayed gratification, emotional contrast. Now we go into polarity. In psychological terms, desire often increases when there is a contrast in emotional roles. When a man is emotionally stable, grounded, and calm under pressure, it activates a sense of safety. Safety allows the feminine nervous system to soften. Softening allows surrender. Surrender increases receptivity. Receptivity amplifies desire. But here is the nuance. If emotional stability becomes emotional predictability, tension drops. Stability must coexist with quiet unpredictability. Meaning, you don't overreact, but you don't over-explain. You are steady, but you are not emotionally available on demand. You listen, but you don't chase validation. This balance creates polarity. If a man becomes overly accommodating, overly available, overly transparent, polarity weakens. If he becomes distant, cold, emotionally unavailable, safety weakens. Both extremes reduce desire. The sweet spot is regulated strength. And regulated strength is deeply attractive because it signals this person can hold emotional weight that creates unconscious trust. Trust creates relaxation. Relaxation creates openness. Openness allows desire to grow naturally. If she feels she is emotionally leading the relationship, attraction can decline. Because desire often intensifies when she feels she can emotionally lean, not carry. If she must, initiate connection constantly, repair emotional ruptures alone, manage emotional tension, carry communication, then polarity flips. And when polarity flips too far, desire weakens. Emotional foreplay includes emotional leadership, not dominance. Leadership. Leadership means setting emotional tone, maintaining calm, not collapsing under small conflicts, holding boundaries without aggression. When she senses grounded emotional leadership, her nervous system relaxes. Relaxed nervous systems experience deeper pleasure. Now we talk about long-term decline. Desire rarely disappears suddenly. It fades gradually, step by step. Here's how. Emotional novelty decreases. Communication becomes practical. Compliments decrease. Playfulness fades. Emotional curiosity drops. Intimacy becomes scheduled. Anticipation disappears. Sexuality becomes routine. Routine is the enemy of erotic energy. Not because routine is bad, but because the brain adapts. The brain craves variation. Emotional foreplay reintroduces variation. Variation in tone. Variation in pacing. Variation in energy. Variation in mystery. Even small variations reactivate the brain's attention system. Attention fuels attraction. Attraction fuels desire. Depth signals rarity. Rarity signals value. Value signals importance. When conversations become emotionally deep about fears, ambitions, inner thoughts, vulnerability increases. Vulnerability increases oxytocin. Oxytocin deepens bonding. When bonding deepens, desire intensifies because emotional closeness and erotic tension can coexist when polarity is intact. But if vulnerability turns into emotional dependency, polarity weakens. Depth must not become emotional collapse. It must remain grounded. That grounded depth creates erotic intimacy. Let's define architecture clearly. Long-term emotional foreplay requires emotional self-control, mystery maintenance, curiosity preservation, non-reactive masculinity, playfulness, emotional independence, calm dominance, not aggression, emotional responsiveness, not neediness. When these are present consistently, desire does not vanish. It fluctuates, yes, but it doesn't collapse. Most people mistake fluctuation for loss. Desire is cyclical. It rises and falls. What kills it is not the fall. It is the absence of reactivation. Emotional foreplay is reactivation. At this level, we stop talking about behaviors. We talk about patterns. Because desire is not built by single actions. It is built by repeated emotional experiences that become subconscious memory. And once memory is formed, attraction becomes automatic. Or it fades automatically. Every emotional experience in a relationship leaves an imprint. An imprint is not a conscious thought. It is a nervous system memory. For example, if she repeatedly feels calm around you, calm becomes associated with you. If she repeatedly feels anxious around you, anxiety becomes associated with you. If she feels emotionally expanded, expansion becomes linked to you. If she feels emotionally small, contraction becomes linked to you. Over time, the brain simplifies. It stops analyzing, starts labeling. U equals safety. U equals stress. U equals excitement. U equals heaviness. And once a subconscious label forms, desire either strengthens or weakens automatically. Emotional foreplay is not one romantic moment. It is the consistent creation of positive subconscious imprints. You are not trying to turn her on. You are trying to become neurologically associated with emotional expansion. When she feels more alive around you, attraction deepens. When she feels drained around you, attraction declines. Simple, brutal, true. Most men try to create constant emotional intensity. That is a mistake. Desire needs rhythm. Think of music. If a song is loud from start to finish, it becomes noise. If a song has build-up, pause, drop, silence, it becomes powerful. Emotional rhythm works the same way. Constant availability kills anticipation. Constant intensity kills novelty. Constant validation kills polarity. Emotional foreplay includes emotional pacing. Sometimes you respond quickly. Sometimes you respond slower. Sometimes you lead conversation. Sometimes you create silence. Sometimes you tease lightly. Sometimes you go serious. This rhythm keeps the nervous system engaged. Without rhythm, the brain adapts. When the brain adapts, desire reduces, because predictability removes tension. And tension, when safe, fuels attraction. Now we go biological. Female desire is not linear. It is cyclical. Hormonal fluctuations across the month influence. Emotional receptivity. Physical sensitivity. Need for reassurance. Need for space. Desire intensity. During certain phases, she may crave closeness. During others, she may crave independence. If you misinterpret this as rejection, you create insecurity. If you overreact emotionally, you create instability. If you remain calm, observant, and responsive without being reactive, you become psychologically grounding. Grounding increases long-term attraction because emotional stability across her internal fluctuations creates safety, and safety allows vulnerability, and vulnerability allows desire. But if she senses a mood criticism, emotional impatience, insecurity, over-demanding energy, she closes, not because she lost attraction, but because her nervous system feels watched instead of supported. The man who understands rhythm does not panic at fluctuation. He adjusts calmly. That calm adjustment is deeply attractive. Desire is not usually destroyed by big mistakes. It is slowly deactivated by subtle behaviors. Examples: over-explaining every feeling, seeking reassurance repeatedly, becoming emotionally dependent, trying too hard to please, losing mystery completely, turning romantic energy into negotiation. When emotional intensity becomes predictable reassurance-seeking, polarity fades. If she feels she must constantly emotionally stabilize you, desire decreases. Because erotic energy requires emotional asymmetry, not inequality. Asymmetry. There must be emotional space for her to move toward you. If you are always moving toward her emotionally, she never gets to lean. If she never leans, desire weakens. Emotional foreplay is about creating space, not pressure. Space allows pursuit. Pursuit increases dopamine. Dopamine fuels desire. Containment is powerful. Containment means you feel deeply, but you don't spill emotionally everywhere. You can hold intensity without collapsing. You can hold silence without filling it. You can hold tension without reacting. When she senses emotional containment, she feels safe exploring her own emotions. But if you react impulsively, she tightens. Tightness blocks arousal. Calm presence invites expansion. Expansion allows desire to rise naturally. This is why emotional self-control in men is so attractive. Not because of dominance, but because it signals psychological safety. Presence means when you are with her, you are actually there. No distraction, no divided attention, no emotional half-presence. Focused attention activates dopamine. Dopamine increases alertness. Alertness increases sensitivity. Sensitivity increases attraction. In modern relationships, distraction is common. Phones, stress, mental overload. When presence disappears, emotional connection weakens. When connection weakens, desire declines. Emotional foreplay is often nothing more than deep presence. Listening fully, responding intentionally, making her feel seen. Feeling seen activates oxytocin. Oxytocin deepens bonding. Bonding fuels trust. Trust fuels surrender. Surrender fuels desire. Now we synthesize everything. Emotional foreplay is anticipation without pressure, stability without predictability, depth without dependency, leadership without dominance, a mystery without manipulation, presence without neediness, rhythm without chaos. It is psychological alignment. When her mind feels safe, curious, stimulated, respected, and slightly intrigued, desire activates naturally. You do not force it. You create the conditions for it. And when conditions are right, attraction feels effortless. But when conditions are wrong, no technique can save it. Desire cannot be negotiated. It must be cultivated, slowly, consistently, consciously. Emotional foreplay is not a trick. It is emotional intelligence applied consistently. It is understanding that female desire is rarely visual first. It is psychological first. It begins in how she feels in your presence. It grows in how safe she feels being open. It intensifies when she feels curious, not pressured. It deepens when she feels emotionally led, not emotionally burdened. If you remember nothing else, remember this: desire lives in anticipation. Anticipation lives in emotional rhythm. Emotional rhythm lives in self-control. And self-control is power. Now take a breath. Let this settle. Because if you truly understand this, you will never chase desire again. You will create the environment where it grows naturally. And if this helped you see something deeper, something most people never talk about, make sure you subscribe to the Voxlore audio. Because here, we don't speak surface psychology. We go into the layers. And the deeper you understand human nature, the more powerful you become. Until the next episode.